Welcome to Brains Gone Bold. We're happy to have you here with us as always. If you haven't listened before, or if you just need a little reminder, please like, subscribe, share, comment, engage with us as you listen to our episode today. We really enjoy having these conversations with you, so please do so. Hi, Jeanine.
Hi, Maria. There's this little fuzzy thing flying around in front of my face right now. And so I'm like,
well, then, so you're going to be the one now who's like,
right.
Usually I'm the one doing that because I have these fruit flies that have been in my house. That
it's all the fruit.
Yeah.
It's all the fruit.
Anyway, it's too much fruit. So we are not together today, unfortunately. Which is my preference to be together. But yeah, I know. I realized after I started saying it that it wasn't going to come out the way I intended. So that's why I added that last piece.
Thank you. I do enjoy being across the table from you instead of across the miles from you. So next time.
Yes. And I feel like we're a little bit of yin and yang here today with you've got the black, mysterious background going on. I'm all...
You're all bright
and white. And although it's very gloomy at my house today. So,
I'm sorry. It's gloomy there. Yeah. It's beautiful and sunshiny for now here in Jacksonville.
It's going to be my mood.
You know, do you have a gloomy mood?
Well, the weather makes me gloomy when it's gloomy. Yeah, I am impacted by the weather. So, but I'll persevere.
Have you heard the term pluviophile?
No.
So a pluviophile is a person who loves the rain, who it actually enhances their mood instead of, I'm not a pluviophile for sure, but I do love a good rainstorm. And I know you like a good storm. It's just when it's constant, right? That it's, so.
Yep. Yeah, which is today. So anyway, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling good, although I think we've acknowledged that my voice sounds a little funky. So maybe I'm getting a cold, but I feel good. So it's been a really busy week. And I mentioned to you that not since leaving my role, I call it my W-2 job, not since leaving that have I felt this kind of overwhelm. But this week has just been an overwhelming week. And I don't know what created that. I think everything kind of conjoined at this. That's not the right word, but everything kind of came in at the same time. And so today's the day, though, that it feels like I've got breathing room again. And so thankfully it didn't last, but I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling. How about you? How was your week?
My week has been fine. My day has been a little different, I would say, so far. It's so my son started his senior year this morning.
I saw his picture.
So, so I'm feeling a little proud though, because of myself, because I didn't cry. And this is the first year that he's gone to school. I think I haven't cried, which is very strange because it's the year that I should cry.
Right. This is his senior. I don't want to say a bunch of things that will then cause the tears. But it's his senior year. So it's exciting and good for him. He's got a lot of exciting things coming too. So,
And then this morning, which maybe you and I need to have a little therapy session here on our podcast. But this morning I was going to be a little bit late to this recording because I finally decided that I've had enough of my BS and I need to start doing something to make some changes.
Okay.
In terms of exercising, going to the gym and that sort of thing. So I made an appointment with a trainer and this morning was my first introductory session at the gym with the trainer. And it was supposed to be 50 minutes, which would have given me plenty of time to get back home, take a shower, be prepared for our recording. And it lasted longer than that.
Wow.
And so I was texting you saying, I'm going to be late. And, or actually what I said to you was, I was asking you to confirm the time we're recording. And then you were like, yes, it's at 10 a.m. That's when we have the studio. As though you were like, we have the studio booked, Maria.
Where there was no tone. And I even included a smiley face. I'm just saying.
You did not.
Was it the second one that I included the smiley face?
I saw no smiley
There
faces.
was a smiley face for sure. Now I'm going to have to look and see. And then I'm going to act it out because you used tone where there was not any tone. And so I will tell you how I said it and you can tell me whatever you want to say. Are we recording at 10? ? I may need 10:15. My response was, yes, 10. That's when we booked the studio. You said, I'll update you once I have a better sense for timing. It's probably going to be 10:15. No later than that, though. Okay, this is me. Okay, well, I will still be there at 10. You know I don't like to be late. Smiley face. And you said,
I was driving when
yes,
Siri
and
read
neither
that to me.
do
She did not.
I. That's exactly what you said back. Yes, and neither do I. So I actually started typing responses, which was going to be, there's no tone there. I was not being salty. You know how I like to be early for everything, but I decided not to. And then you responded again, I'm generally ready. And we talked about Luis at that point.
Yeah.
So there was no intention behind it. You know how like we get here usually 30 minutes early because that's a me thing. And so I'm not trying to put my stuff on you. It was like, I'm still going to be there at 10.
You're saying this as though I'm not also an early person. I am always
You're always
an
up
early
before
person.
I am, all of the things. Absolutely. I think you took it personally.
I did read tone into that, and I thought you were super annoyed with me, and you were giving little jabs. I even said to Lee, Jeanine is super annoyed with me because I'm going to be late. I'm rushing. You should have seen me. I came home. I rushed to the shower, and then I'm getting ready, and I'm sweating as I'm getting ready. So I need another shower because I'm so hot.
I'm so sorry that you put that on yourself because that wasn't me. That was not me saying to you. That's why I put the smiley face in there to kind of like understand, like, I get it, but you know me, I'm going to be there at 10 regardless. Like, that's just, So
I'm going to have a talk with Siri because she did not read the smiley face in my car to me. So that would have been a great help.
Yeah, you need to talk to her for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we worked it out. We're all good.
We're all good. Marie.
We can move forward now. Okay.
Did you hear me call you Marie? That's what I'm going to call your late person. That's going to be your alter ego. The one who's late is Marie.
Okay.
Maria is on time. You can count on her. But damn Marie.
She's the worst.
She is the worst. Did you see that Chad commented? He called you Marie.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to have to talk with him too.
That's funny. Anyway, I'm glad we got past that.
What's on your mind? What's that?
I said I'm glad we got past that and that you understood I was not.
Yes. See, we can work through anything.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Anyway, other than that, my week, aside from work, has been consumed with the Lindsay Clancy trial. And I know I talked to you a little bit about that because I have been glued to it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. When you say consumed, like, what does that look like? What are you doing? We can talk about the trial, but I want to know first of all, your process. Are you like, I'm just watching every minute? Like, what's happening?
It depends on the day. Okay. Of course, I have to work, so I can't necessarily just be glued to the TV. I do tend to make sure I put it on. So it's supposed to start at 9 a.m. every morning. Okay. So I will have it on in the background as I'm working so that I am kind of multitasking and I can listen to what's happening. Anytime I take a little break, I will watch.
Okay.
Anything I miss. So if I have meetings or whatever and I'm not able to see it, I make sure in the evenings that I go back and rewatch it.
Oh, wow.
Like today I'm here with you. I'm missing it right now.
What are you watching it on? Is it like on YouTube?
That?
Like what's... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It streams live on YouTube. Okay. Court TV is what I watch on YouTube. And then even after that, I will watch commentary about what happened that day. Really? So there are certain podcasters or YouTubers that will post what's happened that day and kind of what their perspective is and everything like that. So I'm a little bit a little too much into it, I guess.
That's incredible. I mean, so I am not watching it. And the only thing I know about it is through you and what you've shared with me. I did go and look it up just to see, and it sounds awful, the events. But I know there's some twists and turns, and I know, that's what's really hooking you. And so I'd love to understand a bit more about it. And I think I mentioned to you when I went to get my eye appointment that the people who worked in the lobby or whatever you call it, what is it? Doesn't matter. They were talking to each other about the trial. And I remember thinking, is this the one that Maria's talking to me about? It certainly sounded like it. And then I heard the name and everything else. So clearly there's obviously a lot of interest in what's going on.
Yeah.
So
the same thing happened this morning at the gym when I was leaving. A group of women came in and they were chit-chatting about it, saying how,
Okay.
So.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to get a sip of my coffee for this.
Mm. So I will say that from time to time, I am reminded that I love true crime. I just do. I'm fascinated by what makes people do things. Yeah. And I am interested in like serial killer shows and that sort of thing. Yes. So maybe that's my dark side. I don't know. It's just fascinating.
Is that Marie as well?
That's Marie too. Yeah. And I forget that part of me a lot and I don't pay attention to it. But then when this kind of thing starts happening and I get interested in it, like, oh my goodness, I'm so intrigued by what's happening.
I want to just put a little pause in there for a minute. Because there was two things you just said that like harkened something. The first is that you forget that part of you. We said that when we talked about fun too, that we forget and I'm of course listening to our most recent episode came out and we know the timing is always off. But I was listening to it this morning on the way in here and I've listened to it before, but we've said that exact same thing about, what gets in the way. And so I would, say, as you're talking today, I'm interested to know, like, what did you do with that side? If it's something that's really intriguing to you. And then the second thing was, I really like true crime as well, but I tend to, instead of like watching trials, I tend to watch like the Netflix version of it, that it's a summation instead of everything that's happening as it's unfolding. And so I'm really interested in like, not like, this is a silly thing to say, but like, what are you getting out of it? But like, I feel like there's so much, like I'd want to fast forward. I want to get to the good stuff. And that's what, I'm a Cliff Notes girl. Right. And so that's what Netflix does for me when I watch this. But I love it. I love the true crime stuff as well. I don't know what my alter ego name would be for that. But anyway, so.
Jeanine. Yes, we've already agreed on this.
I'm sorry. I wasn't part of that conversation.
Well, I mean, if you're calling mine Marie, I'm calling yours Jeannie. That's just how it goes. So anyway, we'll work through this later.
We'll agree to disagree on that. Anyway, go ahead.
Anywho, so in particular with this one, I don't typically watch trials either, although I have watched plenty. I remember, oh my gosh, one that I was remember Casey Anthony?
I did watch that trial. Oh
my gosh.
Yes.
I remember where I was when the verdict came out.
Yep.
And I was standing at work and we were standing around the TV watching it.
Yes.
And my reaction was probably not what it should have been in the environment that I was in. I was very surprised by it. But in this particular one, I think there are so many things for me that make me think and try to think differently. And you mentioned the twists and turns. Watching the trial, some of it's kind of boring and repetitive and the same questions are asked and that sort of thing. But I feel like a lot of the people who've been on the stand have had like something that's been, oh, really?
Interesting.
And just kind of added.
I don't want to ask like what, because I want you to be able to get into the story, but it's very intriguing. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's facts, right? So I want to hear all the facts. And so where's the intrigue? I remember people watching the Johnny Depp trial with his estranged wife and like really getting into it. I've not seen it. And he apparently was, in my opinion, at least the things that I heard, he was intentionally being obtuse or, trying to make the people in the audience laugh or something else. I can't imagine that that's what was happening here. Yeah. Okay.
No. First of all, it's a very emotional trial. It is for anyone watching, I'm sure for the jury. And And also for Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah.
There have been moments where she's broken down crying, sobbing. At one point, they actually took a break because she was so almost like hysterical. And it was when they were reviewing the autopsy, the medical examiner who had done the autopsy, I think it was on her daughter.
Will you tell us about like, because it's hard to understand.
I think I should have started more from the beginning. Yeah, I'm making an
I don't know enough.
Here that, yeah. So back in 2023, early 2023, Lindsay Clancy killed all three of her children. I can't remember their exact ages, but they were young.
Yeah.
She had a daughter and 2 sons. One was a baby. He was 8 months old. And she strangled them with exercise bands.
Oh my God.
Prior to that day, she had for probably 6 months, and forgive me, everybody, if I'm getting my timelines mixed up. These are not exact facts. She had been experiencing, at a minimum to begin with, postpartum anxiety.
And did it start after her 3rd child or?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she reportedly had it a little bit after the birth of her 2nd child. But after her 3rd child is when it became more severe.
Okay.
So I think he was born in March, and by August, September timeframe, she was really experiencing this.
And did she know that
anxiety.
It was postpartum related?
I think so. My understanding that I've learned through this is that the postpartum period generally can last up to 12 months.
Okay.
There are nuances, of course, but that was something I didn't know. We are not doctors.
We're not specialists. We're not experts. Yeah. We're not anything but observers in this. And so I want to put a caveat here. Maria and I are talking about this because it's of interest, not because we have any stake in the ground, nor do we have any expertise in this area. It is just 2 friends having a conversation. Okay.
Thank you for that disclaimer.
Sure. Some people will automatically, just because we have a platform, assume, and I don't want anybody to make that assumption. I'm going to speak about myself. I am dumb. I don't even know enough. And so Maria is educating me.
Well, geez, that's a lot of pressure.
Well, I mean, educating me about what's happened in your view.
Yes.
Your view.
Okay. So she is started with this postpartum anxiety, and it morphed into even more than that, of pretty severe depression that went along with that. And she had gone to therapists, psychiatrists. She had gone even to mental health hospitals. She had started having what they call suicidal ideation, which is basically you're thinking about killing yourself, but you don't necessarily, or committing suicide, but you don't necessarily have a plan for it. And apparently that having a plan for it is what escalates the situation in the eyes of mental health providers to a point where you need hospitalization. There needs to be immediate care taken to make sure that you're safe. Okay. But she reported that she didn't have a plan. And
that's the distinction.
So there's a lot of things involved in this, but one of the things that keeps coming up, and there's a lot of debate around, is she had been prescribed a long list of medications. She kept saying to the doctors that she felt like she was on too many medications, that the medications were making her worse. In one case, she felt like she was becoming addicted. She wasn't able to sleep. There was a period of time where she literally didn't sleep for 48 hours. And so sleep was a really big issue for her as well. At one point, I believe this was at some point around Christmas time of 2022, she did share with both her mother and her husband that she was really, afraid. She was having thoughts about harming the children. And so...
and what did they do with that information?
I I can't speak exactly for what they did with it. I do know that they didn't insist on she being like committed or anything. I know her husband testified to say that he asked her if she thought she shouldn't be alone with the kids. And she said no.
I don't
The mom
know that she shouldn't be alone with them, or no, she thought she was okay. Okay.
She thought she was okay.
Okay.
And her mom had been staying with them to help out and that sort of thing.
Yeah, 3 kids.
And so her mom said that she felt like because she was there wasn't as much danger, so to speak, because she was there helping out.
Okay.
So then fast forward, she does end up being voluntarily committed to a mental health hospital where she spent, I think, 5 days or something. They are claiming that during that time she was in the hospital, that she didn't get the care she should have received.
Who's the they that are claiming that? Her and her husband?
I'm just going to call it the defense.
Okay.
So, her attorney, some of their witnesses, her family, her husband. Okay. He's not her husband any longer, but he is basically, in my understanding is he basically feels like this. I think he was quoted as saying, I wasn't married to a monster. I was married to someone who got very sick.
Okay.
So that might not be a direct quote, but he was there to see the progression of all of this throughout this period of time and what was done or not done to help her out. And he's been vocal about that.
So even though they're not married anymore, he is very firmly in the stance of, obviously she did this, but there's extenuating circumstances. And I feel like the system failed her.
Yeah. In fact, both of them separately are suing the healthcare providers and the facility, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I think facility or facilities where she stayed. Okay. So yeah, they're really fighting it because they feel like she was really let down.
Yeah.
She also, so what she did that night, without going into.
Yeah, please don't go into.
I mean, I just kind of already shared the gory details, but while he went out he stopped at CVS for some medicine for their daughter. And then he went to pick up takeout food. And while he was gone is when she did
Where was the mother?
The mother wasn't there, wasn't staying there at this point.
Okay.
And so she did this to the 3 children, and then she attempted
to take care
suicide.
of herself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what she did is she slit her wrists. She slit her neck, and she jumped out of their top floor window.
And that didn't, it sounds like he did a lot. She did a lot, and it didn't result in.
So he came home, he finds all of this, and
that poor man.
She apparently was in pretty bad shape. She did end up almost dying. At one point, her heart stopped. She had several broken things in her body. Most importantly, areas of her spine. So she is actually paralyzed from the waist down. She's in a wheelchair. And so this whole trial is about whether or not. So they are claiming that during the time when she did this, she was experiencing what's called postpartum psychosis.
Okay.
And they're saying that because she is claiming that she heard a voice, a man's voice, telling her that she had to do this and that this was her only chance to do it while her husband was away.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing voices of that nature, and again, I don't know anything about this except from what I'm hearing through the trial, is a symptom of postpartum psychosis, which is kind of like experiencing, hearing things, seeing things maybe that aren't there or real, but they are very real for the person who's in it.
Okay. Let me ask a question about not necessarily about the trial itself, but since they are the defense, meaning her and her team, they're the defense, they're defending her against what? Like she wasn't sane. Let's just I'm going to use sanity as my defense here, just for the argument. So her defense is this postpartum psychosis is the reason I did these things. Not that I didn't do these things. It's the reason I did these things. What is the, what do they call the other side? All of a sudden, it's just not.
Prosecution.
I was like, the offense? That doesn't sound right. The prosecution, what are they trying to prove? Again, there's no doubt that she did the thing. And so what are they trying to prove?
Yeah. They're trying to prove premeditated first-degree murder.
Thank you. Okay. So premeditation is what they're trying to do. And then my other question that came up as you're describing kind of the scenario, they're divorced now. Why? If he's on her side about like all of these things, she was not a monster, she was not a crazy person, some things, like why did they get divorced then?
So I don't know the answer to that. Also, side note, he's remarried and I believe has another baby, which is interesting, if nothing else. You know, I feel so terrible for this man who has lost his entire life.
Absolutely.
And I know people grieve differently and all of these things.
Absolutely.
I was just surprised in that amount of time.
You said it was 23 that happened?
Yeah, beginning of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so to answer your question, this is all speculation.
Yeah.
What I would say is if I were in his shoes, even if I felt like this was my spouse who got really sick and that's what caused them to do it, I still would not be able to live with them.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I would not be able. Yeah, I would not be able to just like move on from that with that person.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know how anybody recovers from that.
Yeah, so I suspect, again, speculation, that, you know, he wasn't going to be able to continue being her husband after that, even though he sees what led to it.
Right. Oh my gosh. What a horrible...
So, you know, the prosecution is basically saying that because and I will admit that at the beginning of the trial, they had what seemed to be a decent argument because they were saying things like she had texted him that day saying, do you want to get takeout from this certain restaurant? It was called 3V. And they don't get takeout from this place very often. And it's further away from their home than the takeout places they normally buy from or are, or were, whatever. And there were just different things that made it look like she was planning to do this while he was out. She was finding a way to send him out.
Okay.
And so you could kind of start seeing that. But then as you get into all of the other details, and that's kind of why I guess maybe I'm so into watching this and
you're invested in the story.
Yeah, because I see all of these people commenting with their opinions, and everybody has a right to their opinion, but it's so divisive. People, and I understand to an extent the reason for that. I mean, these children were brutally murdered. As a mother, I understand the emotion that can dredge up and the anger and all of that. And, you know, you and I have talked many times about this fact of, or idea that two things can be true at once.
Yep.
And I'm just not seeing that a lot of people have the ability to see that, which is, yes, if you can look at this case and you're watching it and you're truly listening, to not be able to recognize or say, this woman was trying to get help. If nothing else, at a baseline, this woman was trying to get help. In some way, she was failed. It is just very, I guess, disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that has to excuse her behavior.
No, of course not.
Because I think that's what people are thinking. It's black or white, right? It's either we completely dismiss the fact that she was ill and we say burn her at the stake, or we say she was ill and we let her get away with it. And the fact is that it doesn't have to be one or the other of those two
It's not
things.
either or. It can be both, to your point.
And what is your definition of holding her accountable? So she has been in a mental facility, is my understanding of what it is. I could be not totally on point with that. It's not a prison since this happened. She is paralyzed. She has to live every day with the fact that she did this. And so we put her in jail. What does that accomplish?
Right. Yeah, that's,
and again, I'm a mother. I can't even fathom. And I think maybe that's part of it for me, is because I can't fathom doing that to my child, it makes it almost easier for me to believe that she had a psychosis going on or a mental condition.
It's so unfathomable that there had to be something wrong for her to do this. Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone, there have been so many witnesses to testify to how much she loved being a mother, how good of a mother she was, how caring of a mother, how doting, devoted, all of those things. You can't just be in love with being a mother one day and then suddenly.
Right. It doesn't compute.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So you said a lot in that, Maria, that I want to just kind of stop you for a minute. I know it, obviously you watch it because you're completely invested. And so, I agree with you that there's going to be people on all sides of the fence. I don't even want to say both sides, because I think there's more than two sides on this as well. Yeah. There's the people, there's no doubt she is guilty of something, right? But we as a American society have also said that the why is equally as important. And that's what our, system is made of. And sometimes we get it wrong. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. There is this groupthink that happens, or mob mentality is probably a better way to put it, where, whoever's the loudest starts talking about, well, she should be burned at the stake, or like, it doesn't matter, like whatever, she did the thing. That's not what's on trial. That's why I was asking, like, what is the prosecution saying? Well, if they can't prove that it was premeditated first degree, then that's what, we all have to go, okay, well, I get it. And that's what we as, bystanders should be evaluating, not whether she killed those children. She did kill the children. That's been settled. Yeah. Did she premeditate? Did she? That's the part.
Yes.
And it concerns me. You brought up Casey Anthony. I remember watching it. I remember, the end result, and us all being like, my colleagues being like, what? Like, we saw the same things. We heard the same things. And we also know, I don't know how many years it's been since that time, 20 years, that more has come out. And so that leads us to believe that the verdict was not the accurate verdict. And so we also, again, we get it wrong all the time. But, you want to hope that we're all on the same page, listening to the same thing. We are reasonable, logical people, but that's the problem. We're not.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. So my understanding is that the outcome of this either will be she's guilty of first degree murder. They call it in the state, I think she's in Massachusetts, they call it not criminally responsible, which I think is similar to not guilty by reason of insanity. So she would be considered not criminally responsible. My understanding then is that she could be
civil,
required to then spend time in a mental institution until they
it sounds
deem
like she
her
probably
fit.
should.
Yeah. And so I don't know exactly what that would look like. And is there ever a world where she gets out of there and lives I don't know if I would even call that a free life, but you know what I mean?
Right. Because of the memory of, she.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
This is such a tough, like, ew. Yeah. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
I hate this conversation.
I don't
mean
sorry.
it like that. Like, it's just, there's so much, because you want people to, you came in when you first started watching with the, wow, I can't believe this woman did this. And clearly whatever. But as you've watched and heard the facts and the testimony, and I don't want to say it swayed you, but you've opened your mind that there could be a different reason. And so you want to believe, just in general, that we don't automatically prosecute and crucify somebody because of the choices that they made. There's circumstances that have led her to this place.
Yeah.
I think that shows up in society so much too, though. To a lesser extent with less, severe consequences, but definitely, she's clearly tried to punish herself too.
Yeah. And, you mentioned earlier, you said, well, we know she did it. And that's the other part to this that's frustrating for me, is there are these conspiracy theories that are starting to take shape now, where people are actually saying that her husband is the one who did it and he framed her in some way. And it, to me, is so, this man has been through enough. He's been through enough. And now he is being dragged through the mud and, what's what I'm looking for? Accused of something that clearly he did not do. She's admitted to it.
Right.
They have all of the timelines and videos and records to show that he wasn't home when this happened. And her defense counsel is saying she did it.
Right.
What basis or reason do we have to drag this man who has lost his entire family through the mud in this way?
Yeah.
Why? What is the purpose of this?
I wish I had an answer for you.
Like, if you want to empathize with her situation, then empathize with her situation for the reason that, or the argument that they're making, which is that she wasn't given the proper help. Empathize for that reason. Don't try to make other
Right. We don't need another scapegoat, fall guy, whatever it is.
It just hurts more people.
Well, and I think
so anyway, we'll get lots of hate mail from this episode, but
I'm sure we'll get if we get any response at all. I hope that it's balanced. There's always going to be people on both sides or all the sides.
Yeah.
The other thing, so what I heard in my eye doctor, and I think I mentioned to you, is that one of the ladies said, oh, he's got to be involved in some way. And so, but I have no basis or facts to go, well, he's not, or he is, because I've not listened to what you've listened to. I haven't heard it. And I mean, truthfully, to hear that he's remarried, has a child and all that kind of stuff, you go, oh, okay. And so I for like a small moment of my irrational mind, well, okay, he's moved on. That's what I feel. Not he's involved, like he's moved on. Like, how do you move on? Because I'm not a mother, but I've got children in my life that I love dearly and would kill for them, right? Not kill them, but kill for them. And so to think about like my brother-in-law, my sister doing this, and then my brother-in-law getting remarried, like what? Like it's unfathomable. So I get why these little seeds of doubt get kind of planted. But if you have any rationalization or logic, think through it, people. Like, think through it. She's not, I mean, is she accusing him like he did this and what? No, she has said, I did this. And and here's why I did this. And to your point, let's look at the facts of the story and what's being presented. It's a heinous crime. It's a heinous crime. Yeah. It is not anything that, you can recover from at any point. And so whether she's in jail or not, she's paralyzed, to your point. She's in her own kind of hell anyway. She's going to need a ton of therapy, whether she's in jail, a mental hospital, or wherever she ends up. That woman is not going to be well. It's a sad statement, but she is not going to be
One of the doctors that testified, I think it was yesterday, he said his words were something like, Lindsay Clancy has bad days and worse days. And so, I mean, to your point, that is true.
Absolutely. How do you be? It's just,
yeah.
The postpartum may be past, right? And postpartum may be past, but the problem isn't.
Yeah. And I would say, as it relates to her husband as well, they have turned over every stone, it seems anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect that if he were involved in any way, they would have pursued him or, looked into that further. And they haven't.
Sure.
I mean, all of the evidence shows that it's not him.
Yeah. So
go
ahead.
What I learned in that we all know is that every move you make
somehow traceable.
Can be tracked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you don't want the FBI going through your shit.
I really don't.
I've always been one of those people where I'm like, I don't care who's watching me. I'm not doing anything to be worried about. But man, it is so interesting to see, like they can see every click they've made of their mouse and, every single little digital footprint, as we call it.
Yeah.
It's a teaching moment, not just for me, but for me to my son. I did mention that to him through this, you just,
that's true.
Yeah.
And, interestingly, so I don't really want to debate the case. I think it is what it is. And there's a lot of interest, in it.
Yeah.
I think the interesting part that, comes from it. So to your point, as far as that everything is traceable, I've said too, I don't care who's watching me. I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be doing. So whatever. Yeah. But that being said, not that I have thought of running for office, but it's the same kind of, critical eye that gets put to anybody who is putting themselves in that position. We comb through their background. People, make up stories based on these little bitty, topics or, we saw them go into CVS. Well, they must have VD. They're probably picking up some sort of drug for that. You know what I mean? Like we make we extrapolate these wild these wild places. Like it's crazy to me. Maybe I don't have enough of an imagination. I don't know. I think the part of that I'm really interested for you, and we say all the time that we're very interested in the way people think, is why do you think this trial has captured your attention? And, I'm not even speaking to everybody else that's obviously fascinated by it as well. For you, why has this trial reignited I'm interested in true crime? What about this one got you back in?
That's a good question. I just think because it's so emotional in so many ways. Number one, again, as a mother, I can get really into that emotion behind what she did and how heinous of a crime that is. But I also think that, I think more recently, I've had some experiences with our healthcare system to see how broken it is. I have also had experiences of, people in my life with mental health issues or challenges or struggles. And I think if you have been witness to that type of thing, I'm not saying postpartum psychosis, but if you've been witness to someone who struggles with mental health issues of any kind, or you've experienced them yourself, you can better understand that this is so hard for some people to comprehend because it's almost like an invisible disease. It is something that we can't see. You have a broken arm. And so it can be very easy to judge and to not understand. But positively or negatively, because of those experiences and me being able to be witness to, I understand that this is a thing that can completely change someone's behavior, and it is as much of an issue that needs help as someone having cancer. And, if you don't go to the right doctor or get the right treatment for your cancer, it's not going to end well.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. In this case, it appears that she didn't get what she needed and it didn't end well.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm finished.
So to that point though, my hope is if there is anything good that comes from this kind of trial and this kind of situation is that there is more attention to postpartum studies. There is more seriousness or gravitas that's given to this kind of situation so that there is not a repeat of this. I will tell you, I'm not going to tell anybody else's story, but there are people in my life that that I'm close to that have had postpartum issues that were very serious. And thankfully, their doctor took it seriously and they were medicated. It doesn't sound like in the same way that Lindsay Clancy was, or maybe was, who knows? I don't know the medications, the cocktails that they prescribe for people. I know what she was on and it helped. And I remember her describing the difference between it, being on it and not being on it. And it was really visual and vivid for me because what she said was after she went on the medication, she had this moment when it finally started like kicking in where she made the statement of, oh, this is what normal feels like. And so there was a very visible to her line in the sand of before medication, after medication. And she said things got quiet, things that it wasn't that she was hearing voices. It was just more like impulses. It was more, she was more angry than anything else. That's the way it kind of showed up for her and frustrated, and her fuse was really short. And so it came out in these anger bursts. And so the medication helped even it out. But when she said that to me about, the noise and the quiet, it was so revealing as to what she was experiencing before that. And so I just,
it's like an internal chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that if anything can come from this, that more attention is paid. Because like you said, it's a disease, and like cancer, it is very damaging and obviously incredibly detrimental and so sad.
Yeah. And I would say I agree with you on the, putting more attention on the postpartum side. I've thought about this through the trial as well. I've never really given postpartum a lot of thought, in all honesty, because I don't know that I know anyone who at least has verbalized to me that they've experienced it. And I said to someone close to me, I said, I can't imagine what that would be like, because I remember when I had my son, you're so emotional to begin with. Your hormones and your body is doing some crazy things. And so to pile on top of that postpartum anxiety or depression or whatever else it is, I can't even fathom that. So it's given me some more empathy for the folks who or women who've gone through that or are going through that. I would also say that my hope is that not just on the postpartum side, but generally speaking, like healthcare in general. And I assume I'm talking, I don't know if this will ever have any big change, but I mentioned to you that I had a recent experience where it became clear to me that our system is broken. And it was really the first of my experiences like this. I've told you this story, which is, last year I changed insurances. I thought I had the same coverage. Actually, I thought I had even better coverage with the plan that I selected. Typically, when I choose plans, I would confirm that my doctor is covered under that plan. And I must not have done that for some reason. And I went to go to my doctor for some things. And I learned when I checked in that they do not take my insurance plan, which, okay, fine. You don't take my insurance plan. My next words were, okay, what does the self-pay option look like? How do I just self-pay? Fine. I need to go to the doctor. I'm just going to pay you for it. Legally not allowed to do that because I have insurance. They legally, that's what they told me. They legally are not allowed to see me.
It's so hard for me to wrap my mind around.
So I can't pay out of my own pocket to see my doctor.
Right. Can you tell them you don't have insurance?
Because I have insurance. What's that?
Can you tell them you don't have insurance and then see them? I mean, honestly.
Great point. I didn't think of that.
I didn't either, because when we talked about it, I didn't say
I was kind of already found out, though. They had my card in their hands. So.
Well, sure. That's not my card.
Yeah. So I've had to get a new doctor, see a new doctor after I love mine and had been seeing mine for years. And I have to kind of do this for the time being until I can change my plan again.
Thankfully,
for next
open
year.
enrollment is coming up. So
yeah, and not to get into a healthcare conversation, but I just could not believe that like, it's like literally against the law for you to take my money.
It's the silliest thing I've ever heard. And I wonder if it's state specific, is that really a thing? It probably is.
I didn't think of that. I don't know.
And I shared with you as well, I think healthcare insurance obviously drives the kind of healthcare that most people can get. And because I am, and like you, I am independent. And so I pay out of pocket for my own coverage and all those things. Last year, when it was come time for open enrollment, my identical, and it genuinely was the identical plan, went from $388 a month to over $1,200 a month. And so I elected not to have insurance this year or that kind of coverage. And so I found a primary direct pay doctor. And the reason I'm telling the story, first of all, I love her. I think she's the best. But beyond that is I went in, I was having trouble. As you know, I have my big water bottle and I was having trouble picking it up. I drink water all day and even while I'm sleeping. And so I sleep on my stomach and I would go to reach for my water bottle. I'd wake up periodically and I would drink and my elbow was killing me. And it got to the point where I felt like I couldn't lift my bottle. And so when I went in and I was telling her, this thing, so she started, she also has occupational, she has a lot, she does a lot of things. Anyway, she was massaging my shoulder and elbow and all those things. And she was like, Jeanine, it's not your elbow, it's your shoulder. And so we need to spend some time, you're probably carrying a lot of tension there. We need to spend some time really working through that. I'm recommending this and that. But then she made the comment, she said, if you had traditional insurance, I wouldn't be able to do anything with your shoulders. I would have to treat your elbow because that's what you came in for. And that's what would be on the insurance form saying you're seeing the doctor for this reason. You'd have to come back another time and we would initiate your shoulder and we would then start treating your shoulder. She said, because you don't have insurance, I'm not hampered by those rules. Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah. You're going to artificially play with my elbow when it's my back?
It's so preposterous.
Yes. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful.
I mean,
I'm grateful for that. Otherwise I would have never found her.
Yeah. It's actually interesting you're bringing this up because I know you had mentioned this to me before we talked through this. And my boyfriend just last night said that, so his primary care doctor recently moved to a similar type of
a direct pay
office. That opened up near us. Okay. And he was talking about potentially going because he was saying it's out of pocket and, that sort of thing. It might not be exactly the same, but it's more of a holistic
exactly. That's what
approach
she is.
To your, So like he actually said to me, if you have a knee problem, they're looking at, is it actually a knee problem or is it coming from another part of your body? So similar to what you just said.
And I pay a monthly membership. And that monthly membership is less than, I'm basically advertising for her now, but it's less than what I was paying monthly for my insurance. Now, here's the rub though. If I need to go, like I'm going to have to get my mammo in October and there's other things, well, I can't do that through her. However, they've got preferred rates. They've got some other things that they'll help me kind of navigate. If I have any major surgeries or anything else, again, that's not through the office. With that being said though, there are plans, there are high deductible plans, and I will probably do that in 2027. Like just in case kind of stuff. So I'll still do my, monthly, and then I'll have, an alternative plan that it's not for the daily care. It's not for that kind of stuff. It's for the catastrophes. It's for I got in an accident and I broke my leg kind of stuff. So, but I'm thrilled that this is currently, we email if I've got something, she just takes care of it. So anyway, but the healthcare system. So we started with this case where clearly in our opinions, and again, I'm stressing the opinions, the system, the healthcare system has failed this woman and has resulted in this unbelievably awful, heinous, catastrophic, all the things. And so it's broken. It's broken. And we've got these other two examples, your personal, my personal experience, with that system in smaller ways for sure, where it's broken. And so it frustrates me because it's like, oh, this is contentious. There's so many things like that where I'm going to say lobbyists, and I don't mean this in a political way because I just don't know the other word for it, that represent the insurance or represent I'm not going to say the word because this is the thing, but represent these different groups that their interest becomes more important and because of the money than the people who are experiencing the things. And it is so frustrating to me. I don't understand, like you were saying about people, commenting on the trial and, that he's this or something else is that. I don't understand how we could be living in the same world, hearing the same things and come up with a different result. But that's what makes the world go round, right? The different opinions and
I suppose so.
All that kind of stuff. So, Maria, this was a ride. This was a ride.
Yeah, this is a little bit more gloomy than our typical episode.
But it was really interesting to me hearing, your perspective on what's going on and why it's intriguing to you and, what it also brings up. It's not just the trial. It's these other things that, start happening, that groupthink, the healthcare, it can be more than one thing at the same time, so much. So as usual, we didn't solve anything.
Well, that's not what we were intending, but stay tuned because I guess maybe we'll talk about this again when the jury decides
I'd be really interested.
What our fate is. I honestly, we'll see.
Yeah.
I would not be, I just wonder if the jury's going to be able to come to a decision.
Oof. Yeah, that's the other
factor. I will be very surprised if it's not a long deliberation at a minimum, but maybe they'll surprise me.
Would you want to serve on that kind of jury?
No.
Yeah.
I go back and forth on that because I am so interested in these kinds of things. And I don't know if you remember me telling you, I actually served
I
on
do
a grand
remember
jury.
when we were all working at the same place. I remember you having that experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know what that was prior to being selected, but that is you serve a term. So for 18 months, I had to go every month to serve on this grand jury. And so that was, I actually say sometimes I miss that because it was just, it's fascinating to me, crime, and, but this type of case is just first of all, the things that jury has had to see are things that they're not showing to the public.
Right. And it's things that they will never unsee.
Yeah. So I would not want to have to experience all of that to begin with. And then to have to make this decision, it's too much.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
I do not envy them.
No, I don't. This is unrelated and related at the same time. And maybe it's just my attempt at trying to get some levity here because it was a really deep conversation.
Yeah.
There was a show on, I think it's Netflix. It might even be Amazon Prime that's called The Jury. And this guy was selected. It was a reality show. He did not know it was all fake. And everybody that was being selected to sit on this jury was an actor. But again, he had no idea. And so it was weeks. They ended up being sequestered for some reason. And it was weeks of them together in the hotel, hearing all the stuff, then going back to the hotel. And he ended up being like just the nicest person. Like, what a nice guy. And he ended up being the jury foreman. And so you went through the whole jury process with him. It was not a murder trial. It was like I don't remember what it was. Anyway, I would encourage you as somebody who enjoys like true crime, watching it from the perspective of this is what the jury goes through. They tried to make it as real as possible and not really interfere with the process. But it was scripted and unscripted at the same time. Very interesting to watch and see. And I think you would enjoy it. But ultimately, when you talk about jury duty, if I ever got to serve on jury duty, I would want it to be kind of the experience that he had versus, something like this. It would be awful.
Yeah. I'm the person, everybody complains about going to jury duty. Like, I got selected for jury duty. I'm like, yes, I got jury duty.
I've never been selected.
Please pick me. I got summoned for jury duty a couple of weeks ago and they ended up not picking me. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
But
I've gotten summoned. I've never been chosen. So I don't know what that says about me, but I've never been chosen. So I have never been chosen. I just wanted to stress that. So Maria, thank you so much for bringing this topic up. I don't know how our audience is going to feel about it, but I really enjoyed having the conversation with you. I do, like I said, like true crime. I think it brings up so much beyond there's a conversation within the conversation. And so, again, I appreciate you sharing kind of your perspective and giving me an opportunity to hear it as well.
Okay. Next time you're on the hot seat and sharing a maybe controversial perspective.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Okay. We'll have to figure out what that is.
I'll take it.
I want you to have an opinion next time.
I have lots of opinions in this conversation.
No, I know.
I always have opinions. You know what my dad always said about opinions?
I know.
I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
If anybody wants to know, you'll have to email us.
Yes.
What did Jeanine's dad always say about opinions?
Right. Yeah. Anyhow. Please ask her because it's great.
Well, apparently somebody said it too, unless I've said to what my dad said.
No, you've said that to me.
I thought maybe you'd heard that before.
I think it's you that said that to me. Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
let's wrap up for today, I suppose. Until next time, everyone, please gently let us know your feelings on this topic. We do want to hear from you, though, even if it's a different opinion than what we've talked about here today. Like, subscribe, share, all of the things, and come back and spend some time with us next time.
Yes.
Until then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.